there, and welcome to The Empowered Edge, the podcast that gives you nutrition, mindset, and habit-building strategies that actually work. I'm your host, Jenna Hostetler, registered dietitian, certified neurocoach, and your go-to guide to break free from burnout, cut through the health noise, and reclaim control of your body and brain. Each week, you'll get practical, science-backed strategies so you can stop second-guessing yourself, sharpen your focus, and finally feel like the woman who leads her life, not just survives it. I am so excited for today's episode. I'm sitting down with Chelsea Haynes from the Gut Health Agency, and she is bringing pure gold. What's really going on when your digestion, energy, and mood feel off? Why do quick fixes fail? And the surprising mindset shifts her clients make to finally heal for good. And this is not just about gut health. It's about uncovering the hidden connection between your body and your brain and the mindset shifts that make lasting change possible. And it's applicable to everyone, even if you're not struggling with digestion. Get ready to dive into part one of our discussion about the gut, the brain, and what it really takes to get lasting healing. Welcome, Chelsea. So good to have you.
Thanks, Jenna. I'm super grateful to be here.
So at the Gut Health Agency, you work with high performers, and your motto is to trust your gut and digest your life. Mm-hmm. So how do you help high performers who I'm sure are pretty analytical, what's logical, what makes most sense? How do you help them kind of get out of their head and learn to trust their gut?
Yeah, it's such a good question. And that actual question is where the Gut Health Agency was essentially born from. And what we have seen over years of being in practice was that busy people don't have time to learn a lot or spend a lot of time dedicated to learning the whys. And we've also seen that understanding the why behind what we're doing can be really important for follow through. And it's a lot more motivating to do the things that are going to be supportive of your health when you understand why or how they are supporting you. So what we specifically do at the Gut Health Agency is twofold. We have merged together clinical diagnosis with health coaching. I am a certified gut health coach. I've been coaching for many years, and I just found that I could take my clients only so far without really getting a glimpse into what's happening in the microbiome. The foundations of gut health takes us to a certain point, but if there's an infection or inflammation or a virus or a parasite that has wiggled down and made its home in the gut, then we really have to address that on a clinical side. And that's why the Gut Health Agency, we've merged both coaching and clinical, because once we have those answers, and oftentimes people come to us having worked with functional medicine doctors in the past, they're still not feeling good. So there really is this missing link between understanding the clinical diagnosis and side of things, which our registered dietitians are trained to do. We order what's called a GI map test, and we get a glimpse into exactly what's happening inside your gut microbiome and also what's going on with your digestion. So it shows us other important digestive markers, things like your pancreatic enzymes, your hydrochloric acid levels, your different microbiome, and if dysbiosis might be happening or not happening, as well as bile output, all these different important things that we need to know that we wouldn't otherwise know if we didn't have a test to show us. Based on that test, we put together personalized protocols with our registered dietitians to help address the infections or dysbiosis or parasites that might be living there. And we combine that with health coaching, because the other piece of this, like I mentioned, without having the support and accountability along the way to get us through those protocols with support and with help, most of the time people who've worked with functional medicine doctors in the past come to us saying, I've done all these things, I've taken all these supplements, and I still feel like poop. I am not feeling good. Or, my GI doctor has me on all these different medications, and I don't understand why I'm still not feeling good or why I'm not going to the bathroom every day. So that's where the health coaching is a really important piece, especially for busy women and high-performing women who have multiple things going on in their lives. They have families, they have careers, they run businesses. They stay at home and manage their households, which alone is its own full-time job. Having the support to be able to say, okay, this is where we want to be. What are the blocks that are keeping you stuck? What are the things that are keeping you in self-sabotaging habits? What are the mindsets that are having you feel feeling overwhelmed all the time. And how can we slowly start to pull back those pieces and unravel all of that anxiety and all of that overwhelm and all of that information overload that the beautiful world of the internet gives us? Instant access and instant overwhelm. How might we be able to unpack some of that and actually make this healing process one that is fun and, heaven forbid, easy? Never mind, on top of that, full of pleasure and full of desire. So healing, as a reminder, is not at all about deprivation or eliminating more foods. At the Gut Health Agency, we really believe that long-lasting healing actually occurs with an abundance of energy, an abundance of diversity in your diet, and tapping into an abundance mindset and reminding yourself that you actually can heal. Because if you don't believe that it's possible for you, then it's going to be really challenging to get there.
Yeah. So goodness, a few things that I kind of want to touch on is I really love, the testing that you guys do. Because without that, I mean, everything is just kind of theory and guessing and, shooting in the dark and seeing what happens. So when you're able to do those tests and really know what's going on, but also, what's effective, what are making changes, what do we actually need to do? Because
Yeah.
especially, with supplements, and this is where I think a lot of people get stuck, is you don't really know if it's working or not. I mean, unless you say you feel better, but maybe it's just because you think it should work, so you feel better. So I think those tests sound like they're really, really helpful and really, what kind of sets you apart as far as what you're able to do, because you can really see what's going on in the body.
Yeah, and something that, just to add to that, Jenna, we always say here that symptoms rule the roost. Like, ultimately, feeling better is the goal. So if you are feeling better, then it's working, and we can trust that. And I think actually stepping away from the mindset that we have to have tests to validate what we're feeling is part of the unlearning process. So for our high performing people, it can be very validating to see things on paper, right? It's like, I have all these symptoms. I don't know what's going on. It's helpful to see that it's not just all in my head, which may be, and especially for a lot of the clients that we've worked with, have been medically gaslit in the past. They've been told that it's all in their head, or that, oh, they just need to go on an anxiety medication, or that, they're not really in pain, that they just need to go see a therapist, which seeing a therapist, anxiety medications, all of these things could be a part of your journey. And we say over here to bless that medicine, because we believe that along the healing process, you should not suffer along the way. And if you're suffering, then you're not healing. So we use these tools as aspects to help us with symptom management. And when we see things on paper, it can be really validating for our subconscious mind and for our heart and our soul and our gut. It's kind of that feeling of like, I knew something wasn't right. And we really work hard to take it a step further than that in the Gut Health Agency. And that's where the health coaching piece really is a game changer, because again, testing can only take us so far. And if we are constantly outsourcing what we already know to be true, what we say here is, if we're outsourcing our intuition, we're never insourcing our intuition. And ultimately, what we desire for you here as professionals is to help you learn how to insource your intuition. So you're no longer having to reach out to the world of social media and other professionals and gurus who think they know your body better than you. We actually do it very differently. We shine a light back on your genius, on your process, and we hold space for your highest self to actually step forward, because ultimately, you are the only professional of your body. You're the only person who's ever lived in your body. So, of course, we are experts in gut health, but we know that, and we say that knowing that you are the expert in your body. So we want to meet you where you are at and encourage you to step forward in an empowered way to say, well, this is how I'm feeling. I am feeling better, and I can trust that to know that this is working. Or, hey, I'm still not feeling great. This isn't working. How might I troubleshoot this? And we can go deep into that dialogue and say, all right, let's go spelunking. Have you ever heard of that term, spelunking, before? Yeah, it's like some people, I say this a lot. Some people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Spelunking is when you go down deep into the depths of caves and you go cave diving in the dark. So we like to say we get in the mud with you, we get into the dark with you. We'll never pull you into the light without permission or until you're ready, which most doctors want to do because they want to see you feeling better for their own satisfaction. And we actually want to see you feeling better because you want to feel better. So ultimately, feeling better is the goal. And if you are feeling better, then it is working. And we can confidently say that the people who come to us do feel better after they work with us in our program.
That's really cool. It's so very interesting just how
Yeah.
the gut and the mind work together like that.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit how food reactions might actually be more of a gut thing than a food thing?
Yes, this is a huge game changer. And there are a lot of companies out there trying to market to your pain points and sell you food sensitivity tests. And I will just say here and now, don't waste your money. Just don't do it. Again, you can trust your body and the symptoms in your body. And the symptoms in your body are going to give you more information than any test is ever going to. If you eat something and you don't feel good, there's something going on there. And if you are eating whole foods and vegetables and, really good quality organic meats and, full organic grains like gluten and dairy, which have been really demonized in the wellness world. And there's a lot of reasons for that I think are way more monetary than anything else. It's not a food issue. It's just not. It's a gut issue. Ultimately, we are organs. We are beings. We are biological, mechanical, spiritual humans walking on this planet. And our planet provides everything that we need in order to thrive. We have sunshine, we have water, and we have fruits and vegetables that grow from the earth. If your body cannot handle fruits and vegetables that are growing from the earth, things that are quote unquote high FODMAPs, or if you have eliminated a ton of food and fiber because someone told you that FODMAPs were bad or that you should only eat fat forever to go into ketosis, then I would really start to question who is telling you these things and start to assess how are you feeling. I'm going to try to just stick to the answer because there's a lot of different rabbit holes that we could go down on that topic, but ultimately your gut thrives on abundance and diversity. The more diverse your diet is, the more it can handle. There have been studies shown that in certain areas of the world that get up to 100 or 150 grams of fiber per day, they have some of the best immune health and gut health in the world. On average, on a standard American diet, I think we get like less than 10 grams of fiber per day. And we wonder why our body gets super gassy when we eat beans. Well, it's because our microbiome has lost the ability to handle eating that much fiber and those beans. So counterintuitively, the way to overcome that is to actually slowly and systematically start to build up your microbiome's ability to break down this fiber, which is so necessary for our overall metabolic and cognitive and immune health. Basically, every function in our body relies on a strong, diverse microbiome. And if your gut is struggling, if you have low stomach acid, which you will know if you deal with heartburn, you have low stomach acid, also counterintuitive and not what all the pharmaceutical companies will teach you. If you're not pooping every single day, or if you deal with extreme bloat, that's not normal. It might be typical for you, and it may be typical for most people to eat cauliflower and get super gassy and really bloated, but it might not be normal. So we need to dig a little bit deeper and remember that demonizing food and eliminating more foods are actually going to cause more gut problems, which are going to lead to more food sensitivities than you had in the first place.
And that is, again, so counterintuitive, maybe to what you always hear. So, okay,
Yeah.
I have a few questions for you. So if I eat if I eat some regular old whole wheat bread and have a horrible reaction afterwards,
Yeah.
is my first step to not eat that again until I can tolerate it, and then eat it, maybe try it again in a month? Or, I mean, what do I do? If I eat a food and every time I eat that food I have a reaction, how do I properly move forward?
That's a great question. So there is value in a healing protocol. And this is why getting to the root cause can be so helpful. How do you get to the root cause? Well, you go through a detailed symptom assessment. When I do this, this is what happens. We start to connect the dots. Okay, looking at your health history, looking at things that have happened in your past. Have you ever experienced food poisoning that can affect the gut-brain axis? Have you ever had a concussion that can alter the communication pathway between your brain and your gut, which could be a root cause to why you're having these gut issues? So really diving deep with someone who knows what they're talking about to find the answer to why am I reacting to this food is going to be really important. And we may say, okay, when you eat that food, you don't feel good. Let's not eat it for a little while. Like that just makes sense. Again, we're not trying to force you into something that doesn't feel good. I have a program that's a 4-week gut health reset program. This is literally just to hit the reset button. If you are feeling like you are just inflamed, everything you eat, you're reacting to, you're getting rashes, you're getting bloated, you're having awful symptoms, hit the reset button. Let's address that inflammation that you're dealing with. So inflammation ultimately is a key root cause for most people who are having food sensitivities. And literally that means an inflamed gut, whether that's, sores in your mouth or your throat or ulcers in your stomach or, inflammation in your GI tract somewhere that's causing slow motility. Inflammation can happen everywhere. But if you're feeling like sausage fingers and you're feeling like, yeah, I just look and feel inflamed right now, I'm sure many people listening to this can relate to that feeling. I know I can. I have an autoimmune disease, and that's where my whole gut health journey came from. But ultimately, hitting the reset button can be really helpful. So eliminating the foods that are adding fuel to that already inflamed fire is going to give your body the space and the container that it needs to turn on your detox pathways, sweat, poop, breath, hair, all the ways that we detox, and to lower that inflammatory level. Then we do exactly what you said. We go through a protocol and then we reintroduce the food systematically to see, okay, was this just an acute thing or is this a chronic thing? So, having support along that way can definitely be very helpful. Hitting the reset button is something that anybody can do. If you would like to go take that program, it's a self-paced program. It's on my website, chelseahainescoaching.com. It's a fantastic program. And it's where I personally started the journey. So to answer your question with a long story, yeah, hit the reset button, remove it's kind of like, man, if I stand in front of this dartboard and someone keeps throwing darts at me, maybe I should move because that doesn't feel great when the darts are stabbing me in the shoulder, right? We got to eliminate the perpetrator. And if the perpetrator is actually something that long-term we desire to have in our life, we got to heal. It's important to remember that the body always wants to heal. The body is always moving towards regenerating and naturally detoxing and naturally healing. That's what we do when we sleep. Our body is constantly working to find equilibrium. So when we can extend that time and space out just from 8 hours of sleep at night, if you're even getting that, to maybe 4 weeks, where now we're really giving the body a fighting chance to find that equilibrium, you may realize that that bread may not affect you in the same way anymore. And I will also add, it's also important to look at the quality of bread that you're eating. If you're eating highly processed Wonder Bread, that might not feel great. Whereas if you go to your local baker, or maybe you try at home to make some homemade sourdough that's actually a living organism, that's easier on the digestive system to break down because it's more familiar for our body to recognize rather than highly bleached grains and, added substances to make its shelf life longer, will also be helpful. So when we eliminate it, as we reintroduce, we may offer to say, hey, instead of reintroducing Wonder Bread, maybe we can reintroduce some locally made sourdough and see how you go in that scenario. I'll take it one step further. When we reintroduce, don't eat the entire loaf of bread and make sure that you're in a really stressed state. So something that we really focus on here at the Gut Health Agency is to eliminate and heal from diet culture. So we are not here to perpetuate the belief that diet culture, all of the beliefs that diet culture puts on us. There's definitely a healing element that we have to look at as far as our relationship with food and how we cope with stress. And, forgiving ourselves for all of that, and then choosing again is a really big piece of the pie. And opting for foods that actually make you feel good, that are good quality, we believe is the highest form of self-respect. So there's some mindset work that needs to be done there, and assessing how you are eating is actually even more important on the end result than what you are eating. So really opening the mind to healing in a whole new way, which requires a lot of unlearning along the process as well.
A lot of unlearning, absolutely. So it sounds like what you're saying is, if you feel like a food is a trigger, eliminate it long enough that your gut, which is the real problem, can heal itself. And then if your gut is actually healed, and if what you're eating is, as I say, real food, then there should not be a problem with you eating it, and your body should be able to handle it unless there's a bigger underlying issue going on.
Exactly. And that's where, if you reintroduce it and there still are problems with real foods, that's when seeking professional help really helps to answer the questions that you have, to eliminate some of the confusion. We will get your microbiome tested, which will actually show us, again, why are you reacting to these real foods? And, after you've done a healing protocol, especially, we need to dig a little bit deeper.
Revisiting this interview lit me up all over again. When someone starts talking and they're saying exactly what you believe, and you're like, yes, oh my gosh, keep talking. That was me the whole entire time. 2 moments stood out that connect perfectly with what I do at Spring Nutrition. First, Chelsea said, we are constantly outsourcing what we already know to be true. Her mission is to help clients insource their intuition so they stop chasing the latest advice from the gurus, social media, or professionals who think they know your body better than you do. If you take away one thing from today, let it be this. The right professional will teach you to understand your body, not try to control it for you. Imagine if every doctor worked this way. We would feel confident asking questions like, I don't like the side effects of this medication. What else can we try? Second, she said, if you don't believe healing is possible for you, it's going to be really challenging for you to get healed. Belief is just as crucial as nutrition, sometimes more. And if that idea feels foreign, go listen to episode 25, The Science of Self-Healing. It will change the way you think about health. And 2 quick nuggets that I can't skip. Choosing quality foods that are good and good for you is a form of self-respect. 100% yes. Taking care of yourself tells the world you value yourself, and that energy carries into every area of your life. And finally, if your body cannot handle fruits and vegetables that grow from the earth, start to question who's telling you that. That is your teaser for part 2 next week. God made our bodies and the foods on this earth perfectly, and if your body can't tolerate the basics that we've been eating for thousands of years, the problem isn't the food. So your homework for this week is to check out episode 25 and grab Goal Getter Guide below from the show notes to uncover your one health goal that will change everything. I'll see you next week, and until then, take action, stay empowered, and find yourself a health professional who teaches you to trust your body. Okay, now before you pop off, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the one episode that could change your life. And give us a 5-star review if you learned something new today. If you want to check out all the awesome free guides, templates, and resources I've given away on this podcast, go to theneurodietitian.com/resources. You can grab anything you want, but only if you'll do it. Because information without implementation is worthless. And here at The Empowered Edge, we're action takers, not excuse makers.